He has to tag everybody, and I don't know if he knows how to do that yet. There you
Woo! All right, microphone check. 1 2 1 2. This is the BLAZETHELION podcast. I am your host, Blaze the Lion, Blaze the Lion. Woo! Also known as that dude, that guy, Lover Boy, Johnny Dangerous, Mr. Hot Chocolate. Don't bring your ex-girlfriend around. Okay.
Or your current girlfriend.
Or your current. Where is this going already? Jeez.
I don't know. I'm going to introduce the whole panel for you. How about that?
There we go. Make sure that you like, love, and share. All right. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a damn friend about the BLAZETHELION podcast. Tonight's show is a little bit different. Why is it different? Is my background different? Is my beard different? Is my shirt different?
They can't see it.
It's different. Oh. Okay.
All right.
Well, for those that are watching the video, right? So, tonight is different. Hello. I love y'all checking in. Tonight is different because instead of just one guest, we have several. These people conned me and persuaded me and bugged me all week. All right, for their shot of fame, for their shot in this spotlight to be a guest on this podcast. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. All right.
She said no.
So I know you guys can hear these people in the background. So it's time to introduce. Before I do, though, also, if you love this movement and you would like to support, we got you. All right. You can support this podcast for as little as pennies. All right. As little as 99 cents per month, all the way up to $10 per month. And you get BLAZETHELION podcast shirts, different types of apparel. You get access to groups on how to find your purpose, how to blaze your personality, and much
late night text from Blaze.
No.
Oh, wow. Wait, we get that? $9.99?
See? That's $999.
Commentary is just bananas.
Oh, man. So, Jesus, take the wheel.
Oh, now you want to bring Jesus into this?
I know. I'm bringing him in the beginning and at the end. During the middle, I don't even know. All right, so enough of this. Let me bring on my guests. I will allow them to introduce themselves because they're just too crazy for me. Here we go. Woo! Look at this awesome panel. All these pretty faces.
Okay.
See, you love them all, right? All right, so let's start here. Panelists, introduce yourself one by one. Let's start right here with Mr. Glenn.
How you guys doing? My name is Glenn Cortez. 47 years old. Recently divorced. So just some.
Is that a celebration?
Yes, it is. And that's all I'm gonna say.
Well, I'm Veronica Adams. My background is pretty extensive, but right now what I do is I market the Forex industry education platform, as well as I have my own podcast called the Superhuman Movement Podcast. I actually feature your host right here, John Blaze, on a couple of episodes of Fired Up Friday. And I have a pretty extensive background, health and fitness, and I've been in enough relationships to talk about it all. So that's going to be my introduction, as well as my business partner.
Hey, I'm Cassie Lynn. I am very fortunate enough to be a business partner of Veronica's. And I have been through quite the extension of relationships. I personally have never been in a long-term relationship, never been married, very much single at the moment. So stay tuned for more information.
Business Our beautiful woman to this way. There we go.
My name is Inanna Rose. I am a sexuality doula, and I am also a spoken word artist and model. Real quick, sexuality doula, for those that usually always want me to have some kind of explanation for, is I help men and women release feelings of shame and guilt around their sexuality.
Okay.
I like it.
How? I want to know how. Okay. Oh, it's not my turn yet.
we want all of you in this space.
All right, now to Mr. Moore.
Okay. I am Tony Moore. I have a bunch of other names, but Tony will do for now. I've been in a long-term relationship for 42 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And unlike Glenn, I'm not planning on getting divorced soon, but that's always I'm in the financial services industry, and I love to have a glass of wine when I'm talking about the subject.
There we go. Cheers. Cheers, Mr. Moore.
Cheers.
Miss Espew.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Cece Espew. And Veronica, I think I've heard my son talk about you. So we definitely have to talk. My son is Jason. But anyway, I am no, Glenn, business. It's all business. Forex business. As soon as she said that, I was like, wait a minute. I've heard you. But anyway, I am a wedding photographer. And so I see relationships when they are really, really good. And when I'm looking through the camera, sometimes I just want to scream, did you get a prenup? I can see right away, like, this is not going to go well. This is not going to go well. And been married twice. At least one of those times we should have just had an affair and called it a day. So that's my story. But anyway.
So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Cheers, my dear.
Right. Wonderful guys. We're just not wonderful together. So.
I know.
Been there.
That's what you say now.
Yeah.
My name is Brandon, and I don't know if I belong here.
I don't think so.
But I'm going to try and fit in. I'm blazing. I'm single, and I'm hoping one day to get married. At least I thought, but after these conversations, I don't think I want to get married anymore. So I'm just here for the show, and that's all I got to say.
But what's beautiful about that is you can have a beautiful perspective on everyone else, because we all have amazing backgrounds in relationships and the level of sexuality that required having a relationship as well. So
I can't wait to learn.
Yeah, basically. So thank you to all my panelists, each and every one of you, for just your personalities, for your expertise, for your willingness to put your whole life on display and embarrass yourself in front of others. So it's much appreciated. I shall increase my views in my place. Thank you all very much. All right. So if you haven't already figured it out, this month's theme is sex. All right, sex and relationships. Ooh. So this is actually the final episode for this month about sex. So I figured, why not end it with a bang?
Okay.
That was funny.
Yeah, sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't.
They don't.
In any case.
Everyone's still laughing though, John.
So yeah, I guess. All right, cool.
So, sex and relationship don't necessarily go together.
That is so true. That is, trust
This
me.
is true.
Trust me, you do not have to have a relationship to have sex. You can have amazing sex without a relationship. And so at this stage in my life, and I think I'm a little older than some of you, not by much, just by a year or two, but it's like, hey, at this point, go for the great sex. I mean,
I'm glad
so
that you mentioned
hold
that.
on. So let me formally ask this question. So, how important is sex in a relationship?
Do we have to do like a scale of 1 to 10? Can we just do a scale of 1 to 10?
Not necessarily.
I think that would help.
It cures your headaches.
it cures your headaches.
Cures your headache.
Well, we know
Not always.
we know the benefits of sex. We're talking about how important it is to a functional
Well,
and healthy relationship.
Well, that's why it's important, because if your significant other is giving you a headache, just do it and get it over with, and then you can go to sleep.
Well, isn't that the cause of lack of sex? The headache?
It's gonna be stronger than this.
Yeah, I know, seriously.
Well, we're all
It's extremely
separate.
important. Extremely important.
All right.
Well, on a serious note, I think it can bond two people together, but it's actually, I think sex is a brain thing as opposed to more a physical thing, and it really depends on how committed you are to each other. That will determine how well it bonds you together. I've seen it happen where sex and then there's a fight and there's a split. So.
Mr. Bedro, would you like to jump in on this question? How important is sex in a relationship?
I'm single. Look, man, I'm not myself, but when I was in a relationship, right?
He's like, what relationship?
Yeah, right.
It's
So
important.
wait, Brandon B.
Yes.
You never had like a relationship where you either had good sex or bad sex, and it either kept you there or it didn't keep you there because of it. Like, was that a defining factor?
No.
That's important.
That it wasn't contingent on the sex, but it definitely added to the reason why I didn't want to be with the person anymore. I think it's a part of the whole chemistry with the person, right? Like, not to say if the chemistry is off with the sex, everything else is going to be, but usually they both go hand in hand. So I just feel like it's kind of one and the same. And, if you decide to have sex with that person and you're into them, then the chemistry just has to be there. Because if it doesn't happen in the bedroom, then, chances are everything else kind of around that, it's going to probably be hard to kind of go overcome it. Again, that's just speaking from my experience. So
I'm going to chime in on that. And I'm glad that you mentioned that. Only because there's been both sides for me. It's either the sex is very good and the relationship factor doesn't work because you don't have the same goals. It just means physically you're on the same page. But being physically on the same page does not mean that long term it would work, right? Or on the other side of that, you might have okay sex, but then you learn your partner, because you have to teach them what you like. It's not always like instant. Sometimes people have to be taught because maybe they learn differently from another partner, right? Or they learn, that it's okay to not ask, but it's really important to ask what your partner likes and doesn't like, especially if you're looking to go long-term with them. That's just my opinion.
I think so that it comes back to kind of originally what I was trying to get to is communication, and that's how you build that chemistry. So to your point, maybe right away, there's not fireworks, but I think you can build to that to get to the point where you are on the same page, but you have to talk. I think often couples, they'll just kind of, maybe talk to the wrong people or not talk to the actual partner and complain about it. I'm like, why don't you talk to the person you're having the issue with and you'll probably get to the root of the problem rather than going and talking to your friends and telling everybody else but the person that you need to talk to. So,
And on top of that, if the person themselves doesn't know what they like because they've never attempted it on themselves, if you don't know for yourself what you like, how can you communicate that with a partner or to a partner?
Yeah. So I think communication is like super, super important. And I'm always asking, what do you like? Do you like this? Do you like that? Because I'm not there to waste my time. You know,
Are you from New York?
hey, I'm from Flatbush. I'm from Flatbush. And you know, they have a thing that says a 50-year-old woman will never turn to her partner after sex and say, what do you think? Because guess what? We don't care. We don't care. It's like, you happy? You good? I'm good. We out. You know, so so you have to have those conversations before you get to the sex. About what do you like? What do you want to try? You know, so yeah, because you gotta ask.
I got married really, really young. I was 22 and she was 20. We didn't know what we were doing. And that led to a lot of our problems. It's very true that later on in life is when you start learning where what your partner likes, what you tell her what you like, and but when you're young, you don't think about that kind of stuff. It's just stick it and go, and that's it. And it's. But later on in life, as you get older, like Cece says, is when you start, hey, having those conversations. What do you like? Well, this is what I like. Here's my safe word.
Safe words.
Safe word.
Those type of things.
So we are all sexual beings, right?
He knew what he was doing. John knew what he was doing.
The reason why we exist, right, is because of sex. So that goes to show how important sex is. There could be sexual chemistry without sexual compatibility. Or there can be sexual compatibility without sexual chemistry. And the way we can develop what our sexual compatibilities are is by having sex with ourselves, right? Really deep.
You're welcome.
The saying goes that you cannot have sex with anyone else until you learn how to have sex with yourself.
Oh, I love that.
Really like learning what pleasures you and becoming the best lover to yourself.
Beautiful.
There's a lot of dogma and a lot of shame surrounding self-pleasure. And really tapping into that will allow you to be really involved as a lover to your partner. So that's how important sex is. And tapping into that realm of things allows you to see things from different perspectives and really knowing, how to develop compatibility and sexual alignment with somebody.
I second that.
Yeah.
Right. So I have to tell you this, the craziest thing happened to me last week with, being able to have basically sex with myself. So I love comedy. I love comedy. And I was watching this comedian and he was talking about the womanizer, that, like it's the latest, greatest thing. So of course I had to Google it. And I was like, whoa, I want one of these. So I'm on Amazon Prime and I'm getting ready to hit the send button. And then I realized that my kids are on my Amazon Prime.
Oh,
and I was like,
Google that.
no,
Google that.
Don't hit send.
Okay, so you have to get a different account for that.
I have to get a different account. How would I explain to my kids why I need a womanizer? So,
it's not their business. It's just not the business.
But it would have come up.
That's funny.
The fact that it's called womanizer is pretty interesting.
And it's
John's
worth
well,
every penny. It's worth
what is
every
that?
penny.
Let's see what that is.
Are you saying that we should Google that?
This is such
Hey,
like, oh wow.
Nice. What is
Okay.
that thing? It looks delicious.
you know, Mother's Day is coming
Use
up.
my crunch,
Get it
excuse
for your partner. I'm just saying, get one for your partner. They'll appreciate it. So, yeah.
me. Wow.
So I have a question for all of you, or some of you, or one of you, or anyone. Okay. So, so Anana spoke about this a little bit, and so did Veronica. So, if you have a partner, right? And those in the comments too, you know, you're walking also jump in. If you have a partner or a potential partner and they look good on paper, all right? You guys have similar goals, similar vision, all of that. And you engage in sex and it's kind of, is it possible for every relationship like that to develop that sexual chemistry? Or is it just where like some couples or some partners just can't? Because I've heard about the air signs versus fire signs.
Okay, can I
Let her
That's
chime
way
in
too
on
deep.
this one,
Way too
only
deep.
because she had some similar experience, and I'm glad that you mentioned
Oh
Okay.
my goodness. I thought that I had found my twin flame. So if you are not spiritual, basically that means that you found your perfect match, right? You found your divine partner that was supposed to lead you to your purpose here on earth, right? When we had when we did the deed the first time, okay, Veronica doesn't know about it.
I think I do. I think you told me.
He got quote unquote whiskey dick, okay, and
I don't know what that
was
is.
okay with it.
He got
I
what?
was okay with it because
Wait. I don't know what that is. What is whiskey?
Okay,
you
can
know,
someone explain what whiskey D is?
I don't know what that is.
Is
Guys,
this like a slang term?
guys.
In the comments,
guys,
anybody
you
know what that is?
means, right? When you overdrink and
Okay.
He
And you
get
can't get
limp.
hard?
Limp.
yeah, that.
And you don't
Oh.
function.
Yeah,
He got limp.
I've
Yes.
never knew that was a thing.
yeah, it is.
Okay.
it's a
I've
thing.
never experienced. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
We're going to be banned.
John.
They're not going to air this show. That we're going to be banned.
Hey, we don't even know what's happening right now.
He got
It's
limp.
conversation, right?
There we go.
So, you know, we drank a lot and then we got to it. And to be honest, and everybody's different, right? But I'm the type of woman who I'm easy to please, but really hard to impress. So you can please me a lot, right? But it's really hard to impress me sexually. So anyway, getting back to that, he pleased me, don't get me wrong. But when it came to impressing me that night, he just really like dropped dead on the floor, not even on the bed. It was like, ow, right? So anyway, moving forward, we had many other sexual encounters and it was cool, but it wasn't exceptional. To
It
where
wasn't
I was
satisfying?
like, oh, this is great. He was a businessman, very aligned with me. I felt like he connected with me on many different levels, yeah. And when it came down to everything boiling down, he just wasn't all that he was hyped up to be. And that was because he was a narcissist. That's a completely different topic. But
That's part of it, though, too.
yeah, narcissists sexually, they hype themselves up.
Has anyone ever dealt with that, like narcissism, when it comes to a partner?
Who hasn't?
Oh, okay. Well, then.
So, ladies, I want you to notice how quiet the guys are. Glenn, I like nothing. Like nothing. I mean, guys, fix your faces.
I'm just taking notes.
I'm learning.
I'm just
We have some
listening.
respectful men on the
Listening.
call. That's a thing.
All right,
I'm
so
just
I'll
Still
tell
getting through
you
the shock
something.
factor.
This would be a whole different topic.
I'll tell you something that I use all the time to kind of create the mood. All right. So if maybe the date is not going the way I want, all right. So very quickly, whether it's I grab my phone or a piece of paper, I list 10 things that I like about myself, that I absolutely love about myself. Then 10 things I like about the person, and then 10 things I like about us together. So, when
I
you talk
love
about
that.
getting in the flow, and so by the time I'm done with the 10 things that I love about us together, oh, I can carry the mood. I mean, basically, then all he has to do is step into the flow. It's to tap into my energy because
But that requires a lot of allowing, and a lot of men are they just go into the ego space, especially when it's something new and they feel like they have something to prove.
Yes.
Is that true, guys?
It can be based on performance or a feeling of inadequacy. You're not sure if you can please your partner, and so because of that type of feeling, it prevents you from really enjoying the moment, and not only you enjoying the moment, but your partner enjoying the moment. Because rather than just engaging, you're thinking about, oh, am I going to fulfill?
That's
Am I?
anxiety.
right.
That's
But
anxiety.
if you yourself, if you get into the flow, if you get into your vortex, then it's much easier for the other
I
person.
see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So, you can't change anybody else. You can
Correct.
only,
You can
manage
only
your
command your own. Yeah.
energy, right?
Yeah.
So you get into the flow, all right? You make sure that if you're happy and you know what you want, then the other person can tap in. Okay, so
Yeah.
I kind of try to help them
A
out.
lot of times, sometimes that anxiety that you mentioned can become really debilitating for some
Mhm,
men. And women, we have to take accountability because men and women, create expectations, right?
mhm,
We create this picture of what we want it to look like or what it's supposed to feel like.
mhm.
And when we become a blank canvas and get rid of the pictures, that's when we can be more allowing and accepting,
Yes, yes.
and the anxieties can subside.
Mhm,
And sometimes these anxieties, I mean, I've met some people that had to have like therapy level processing to get through these anxieties because it's so ingrained in the culture and society, right? To just have this level, carry this level of shame around their performance, right? Because it doesn't look like it does in porn, you know?
Right. I'm so
And
glad you mentioned that, Ina, because I always tell people do
right,
not use porn as a reference for how sex is supposed to look, feel, or be like
mhm.
at all. Not even close.
Not even.
All
Right.
that's an act, just like in the movies, all these ideas of romanticism and like heroism and all that, that is not real life. It may
right.
happen. It may. I'm not saying that it won't, but
Right.
9 out of 10 times, it's just something normal. We're stumbling into it, especially when we're still new to it. Allow the experience. And when you, like what you said, the blank canvas, and I love that analogy,
Mhm,
is you leave the blank canvas so you allow the creativity of the individual to just flow and
mhm,
just create the experience for yourself. And I'm glad that you mentioned about the woman, because we have a lot more I want to say control, but it's really the command of the entire energy of the situation.
mhm.
Command is a
Because more
perfect.
than likely the men are attempting to please us and impress us. So if we're like and I'm guilty of it. I'm saying this only because I know where I've been, and I've noticed the difference when I just allow versus attempting to control every single aspect of what's
Right,
going on. So I'm
right.
glad you mentioned that. I
All of
appreciate
us
that.
do it.
Yeah.
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 I heard a saying the other day that as women, we can create life, meaning we can have babies. So surely we can create a good life or a good experience,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all about when I do pictures and I will tell women, I was like, okay, feel the feeling down in your, I tell them to Kegel.
And you
You
Dantian?
get a
That's
cake.
Yeah,
Dantian.
yeah. I'm like,
That's your
I'm
Dantian. That's your your
right.
yoni,
And so
Dantian.
during
That's
my
like one
photo
of the sacral
sessions,
chakras.
I'm
Yeah.
always having people Kegel, and then your back
I'm giggling.
arches, and everything, and then I get these amazing pictures. So I'm telling women all the time, hey, if you want to control a situation, Kegel, because it just makes men
You strengthen that foundation.
Right. But men respond to that. Yeah.
But
Fix
other
your
than
face,
the
Brandon.
sex, right, it's a
Yeah,
really
I know. Fix your face, Brandon.
He was so serious.
I'm
He was like,
intense. I'm listening. I think I'm learning. That's why I'm like this. Like
he's very
sometimes it's better
right.
to listen than to speak. So
I've never heard you this quiet.
I know.
right.
I'm
I know he's
I'm
right, though.
googling
He's
words I've
right,
never heard
Brandon.
before. I didn't even know what Kegel is. I'm like, okay.
Well, you know what a Kegel is?
Kegel
You know?
is
Oh my
when
God.
we use our PC muscles
Yes.
in our vagina and we squeeze it together to exercise.
So whenever
those
you
muscles.
feel a woman squeeze on your penis, when she's inserted or you're
Good
inserted into her,
Right,
that's
that
what
would be
Kegel
that
is, but we
grip,
can do that
that
without
tight grip
insertion.
experience.
Yeah,
When someone is gripping you, that's her Kegel muscles.
Ooh, that grip.
Yeah.
I like
And
it.
another thing
Literally
to note
rubbing
about Kegels is that our womb space is what carries all of our organs, right? It holds our kidneys, it holds everything up. So there is like a 60 to 70% collapse in women's pelvic muscles. So when they reach a certain age. So it's very important to do Kegels so we can strengthen, that muscle that holds everything up, other than just, from a sexual perspective and gripping that dick.
I love that.
She said that it.
No, look at Glenn's face. Look at Glenn's face. Glenn is like, what the
Glenn is
heck?
like, this
I mean,
is a
this-
whole.
I didn't know what
Like,
Kegel meant.
Blaze,
I
can I
didn't
say
know what
that?
Kegel meant. So, look, as far as a guy, we got the woman's perspective, right? So,
Yeah.
yes, men do go in and feel like they have to, command the performance, right? They have to impress, right? So, something that Tony touched on is that sex is mostly mental. So we put it in here and say, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, and men do put a lot of pressure on ourselves because we don't want to mess it up, right? We don't want to get whiskey bleep. So from the woman's point of view, like Inanna was saying, is that we should go in as a blank canvas on both sides, right? Because not putting too much expectations on ourselves, and just going in with an open mind, because when you go in and you're like, yeah, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, and you're putting all that pressure on yourself, and it doesn't turn out as well as you want it to, and
Okay.
So I have a personal story on that. So one of my
he's talking about a friend.
so somebody
Right.
was involved.
I don't know who is listening, but anyway, somebody who I used to know, right? There we go. We were talking or whatever, and our first experience together sexually, I was terrible because it was somebody who I saw in high school, and to me, she was so beautiful in high school, and so for me, mentally, the fact that I got her here, I was all in my head, like, so that first experience with her is terrible. I just made sure that for that second experience and third experience, I did my stretches and I got my mind right. So for the guys in this room, have you guys ever been through that? Has that ever been like an experience for you? Where it's mental?
Where you put the woman on such a high pedestal that
Yes.
it inhibits your performance?
Yes.
No, because I go in with a blank slate. It's like, okay.
Good answer.
He said no, man.
Right.
I mean, stuff like that has happened, but not for that reason.
Just to note, Mr. Moore has been married for 42 years, or in a
Right,
relationship
yeah.
for 42 years. Guys, take notes. Chink, chink, chink.
Yeah, seriously.
You're just going with a blank slate and let it happen organically, right? So that you're not going with any expectations of, okay, this is what I'm going to do, because then you start building up that pressure. And both parties have to be involved. Both parties have to want it. Because the worst thing that for me, when I was dating, I was a single man, is a woman not responsive. Because to me, that's a turnoff. It's like, okay, you're not interested. I'm leaving. So, both parties have to be involved, and that's what makes the moment so rich and so rewarding. Is having both parties wanting to explore and try new things if that's what you want, or just doing it the traditional way.
I find sex is really sacred, in my opinion. So when you go into it, regardless of whether there's someone new or it's a seasoned relationship, every time you get into that connection space, someone's sharing, opening up a portal for you to enter. So regardless of what the situation is, you go in there ready to just connect. Connect and create, because that's sex in general. The energy itself is a very creative energy. It's a powerful energy, but it's a very creative energy. So you can go into it with whatever you would like to create, whether it's just a beautiful experience or to use this as a catalyst to experience something more in your life. That's why sometimes people go into the honeymoon stage, and that first few months is remarkable because you guys are having amazing sex, you guys are staying together, creating all these experiences, and you're on a high. You're only connected to the heart and nothing else. You're not thinking logically, you're not thinking about what you're going to create long term. You're just in the experience. And I think that's how similar to not necessarily one night stands, but something that might not be long term just yet.
I really want to piggyback off of that. So, okay, to piggyback off of what you just said, a lot of what sex is surrendering to that person. And we don't realize it, but we're surrendering in that moment. We're letting go of everything. And so what happens is when we do life, day-to-day basis, work, kids, just family. Scheduled. It's all scheduled, and we never really get the chance to surrender. And believe it or not, that's why a lot of people love to drink and do other extracurricular activities, right? Because they get the chance to surrender and just give up what they're feeling, what happened in the day. And so sex is that, it's surrendering to your partner. You're trusting them with that very divine energy that you're giving them. And that's why it's so powerful.
There's a vulnerability in it.
Yeah.
I know, Anana, you're very familiar with what that is, the vulnerability of it.
So I wanted to touch on what Tony said earlier about the woman not being responsive, because I found that in a lot of women that I have worked with, they equate submissiveness to almost being paralyzed.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Submissive is.
I've never been there, so I couldn't.
Right. I mean, this is just deep conditioning, and not being able to really tap into their pleasure zones, right? Because they think that that's not what a submissive woman does. That a submissive, just this idea of what a submissive woman is, and this dominant man or vice versa is very misconstrued. And then when we talk about surrendering, right? Sex is a worship. It's an act of worship. As when we pray and we bow down, that is a positioning yourself in this position of worship to surrender yourself to God. When you think about yoga, you all have all these different asanas and positions that are no different than sex, right? Yoga is tapping into your body, and so is sex. So sex is not necessarily mental. The libido is mental. The desire is mental, but sex is a full body experience.
Very spiritual, and I'm glad you mentioned that.
Right.
So I just wanted to really touch on that because some of the experiences that we have might had with people are people who are functioning on a trauma level, right? And nobody can really have, you know, higher levels of sexual chemistry and be their authentic selves when they're looping in a traumatic cycle, right? You can't tap in with someone else if you have not tapped into yourself.
Exactly. Otherwise, it's super misaligned, misconstrued, and just off. You know, I'm glad that you did that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Definitely.
You guys have to smile. I swear. Can I just get a
The guys
laugh?
are like this.
Smile.
Like,
This whole
what?
conversation,
Like, this is so intense.
my
I
entire
thought sex
approach.
was just 15 minutes
sex.
going in. I'm just kidding.
Brandon,
What, Brandon?
Wait.
No, I'm just saying, I'm rethinking my entire approach about sex. Like, just hearing it get on this level, I think sometimes, you know, at least for me, like, you know, it can be surface. It's just like, okay, we're gonna go in there. How can I please a woman? And then that's it. But there's so many levels and layers to it. And I think
So
if we
many
get
layers.
down to that, it can be a really beautiful thing. And I think that's why it goes awry sometimes, because it doesn't get to that level. But that's why I'm not speaking. I'm really listening. I'm just like, man, I'm thinking about the 1 or 2 times I've had sex. I'm like, man, like, like could have gone a different way. No,
Shut
for real,
up,
not a
Brandon.
different way. So,
Bruh.
So check this out. So you know that's a ploy because now
fine,
every woman out
whatever.
there,
Like,
Gosh.
every woman out there is gonna want to baby him and nurture him and take him to the side or what have you. But let me
The
put it
plan
this.
worked. The plan worked.
The plan works, right?
It's the first time, right? Each time is the first time. We've never experienced it. In that moment, it's something totally different. Right?
I'm glad that you
Mr.
said
Moore,
that
right
because
there.
it is a different person.
It
Yeah,
is a
you're
different
right.
person. But you know, sex begins before you get to the bedroom.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So, you know, just
Yes.
finding out what is
Speak
the
on that.
person's love language. Like for me, my love language is touching and words.
Words of
you know, words of
affirmation.
affirmation. Right. Guess what? If you don't touch me, if you don't say those words of affirmations, I don't care what you do in the bedroom. It's not going to work because for me, it started way before that. You know.
Okay, so love languages. Does everyone know their love languages? Here?
Yeah. Do you guys know love languages?
I know mine.
Yes.
I know mine. So
John,
guys,
you know
we want to
yours?
hear. We want to hear, guys. What's your love language?
Yeah, what are you guys? Because we girls can talk all day about this.
Right.
Guys, please chime in.
My love language. My love language is service.
So
Service.
service. Like me. That's one of mine. Mine
Okay.
is quality time and acts of service. It's between those two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brandon,
Glenn
what's
and
yours?
Brandon, do y'all know your love language? More importantly, do you know your partner's love language?
He doesn't right now.
Brandon is like,
Mine is also service. Service.
yours is service, friend. Okay. Blaze, what's
Do you
your
know?
love
Do you know what
language?
the 5 languages are? Love languages.
tell us, V. Tell us.
Okay, so I know that acts of service, quality time, words of affirmation, physical touch, and
Receiving gifts.
Oh,
receiving
wait.
gifts.
Yes.
Yeah, receiving gifts.
And so, most women receiving gifts, is that their love language for most women?
Not for me.
Not at all.
Not for me at all. It's not. Only because I get my own.
Yeah.
Right,
I'm
I get
I'm
my
not a
own.
materialistic person like that.
Maybe that's why I've been married for so long.
For me, like I mentioned, it's
Most
acts of
is words
service
of
and
affirmation.
quality time. But
Most
quality
women
time
are
really
words of
doesn't mean just
affirmation.
spending time.
Spending
literally
time.
has quality time, meaning that what we're doing together is a production, meaning it's doing something. Like there's something working towards a greater purpose.
Yeah.
It's all in purpose. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Sometimes it can be just watching a show, you know, but it's very, very little of that. Very less of that, more of let's create our vision boards together. Let's travel together. Let's plan the next year together. Let's, you know, budget together. How silly. I'm like the most boring when it comes to that. But that literally, like, that's what sparks me.
Right.
Can I ask a question?
I love that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Do you expect a guy or your partner to know that after being with you for so long, or do you
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. You should have had
After
the
a certain amount of
conversation
time,
and
If
listened.
you don't pick up, that means they're not paying attention.
Right.
Yeah.
You should have had the conversation.
Yeah, the
Most,
conversation.
communicate.
most men won't have that
To me, it's like,
conversation.
100%.
So, is
In the
it
chat, put down your love language.
right?
Go
Most men won't have that conversation. So, I know as far as myself that, I like to take care of a woman, kind of old school mentality where,
acts of service.
right, that, oh, you need this done? Okay, let me take care of that for you. That's how I show that I care.
But
for
what
a
about
woman.
receiving though? That's for you. What we're talking about, like for you, what from those five? What would be the things that you find are most important for you to determine that that person loves you and cares about you enough to say that that's love?
We have a term in Spanish, cariñoso,
So
right?
Affection, physical touch.
Right.
Okay.
Physical touch, affection. So someone petting you,
Mhm.
touching you, massages, kisses.
Physical
Okay.
touch.
All day.
Oh, so he's a physical touch guy.
But
See
you
how
see,
easy that is?
but see, Glenn, you have to let your partner know that.
Yeah,
If you don't tell your partner that, then they might not know,
they might not know. Yeah.
right? Right?
Exactly.
Oh, this is a good question. So in the chat, Terrence asks, "Do you believe your love language changes over time?
Definitely.
Can it change?"
You know what? Yeah.
That's a good
I didn't even think
Oh.
about that.
That's
Yeah.
a good
Yeah.
Not for me.
That's actually a good question. It does. It evolves, just like you evolve.
Yeah.
Mhm,
You
mhm.
know, like the idea that I have from relationships really did change over time.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
wow, I love this. I didn't even think
Because
about
when you're younger, you might think it's that diamond ring that you want, but that as you change, you might realize, like, hey, you don't give a hoot about the diamond ring. You want him to be there.
that.
You want that
Yeah.
quality time.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So from gifts, it would evolve into just quality time.
Yeah.
Right. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
I love that.
Mhm.
All right.
Over
So that.
time,
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say that over time, I started to refine how I wanted to feel in a
Mhm.
relationship
Mhm.
instead of what I was looking for in a partner. I focused on what I wanted to
Yes.
feel, and that's when my love languages evolved and shifted into different orders, and it really evolved how I pursued or approached a relationship, and how I got to know people on a deeper level.
Yes.
So,
With
Tony, what was your love language?
What?
We didn't hear your love language. What was your love language?
Service.
Service. And
Brandon, do you
Blaze?
know yours?
Physical touch was Glenn's.
Yeah, I know
Right.
that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Physical touch.
Physical touch? Okay.
Brandon, do you
Like
think yours is
physical
what?
touch.
Sorry.
Yeah, when I was younger, when I was in my 20s and 30s, physical touch was it. Yeah.
I'm in my
And then
20s.
No, I
Brandon.
don't care.
That makes sense.
All right.
I want to hear
Blaze,
what
what's
Brandon
yours?
I feel that I align with 3. So acts of service, quality time, and physical touch.
But if you could only have one, which one do you think would it be? Like if one was the most important, like you feel. If that was
I
all
would-
you got from the relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how you
What's your
determine that.
number one?
I guess I would say physical touch. But there are levels to physical touch, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Mhm,
Absolutely.
And the thing is, don't be apologetic about what you like. What you
Yeah.
like is what you like,
Exactly.
and so you have to tell us, guys, what you like, as we don't know. We're not psychic.
Yeah.
Just like they're not psychic.
Yeah, we don't expect you to be psychic. So, tell us what you like and then listen when we say what we like.
I like physical touch.
So,
I
Glenn,
like
so
big
then
butts.
we don't need a safe word. We don't need a safe word if you've been listening to us.
Like this is amazing because I'm just like, yes, if we're just open and communicating, that's great. But I've encountered situations where I'm like, I thought that's what you like, and you're like, you should have known. And I'm like, you didn't tell me, and like, well, you should have known. And I'm just, it's a back and forth, and I'm just like, I don't think it needs to be like that, you know. Just like, let's just be real with each other. Like, I
Right.
can guess, and yes, if I'm with you for a long time, I'll probably have an idea of what you do like, but maybe there's something else. And because we evolve, then maybe you change. So it needs to be constant communication. I think it just all goes back to that, right? That root word of communication. So,
All right. What are you guys
So
doing?
wait, hold on. Go ahead. We have another man on the panel that says that he wants to chime in on this only because he feels very inclined to speak.
I have.
Hold on, Briar Blackwell taking the stage.
I just wanted to speak on the part about how a lot of men have the physical touch as a love language in common, and I think that speaks to male psychology in a loud way. You know, with toxic masculinity and being a part of our culture, a lot of men aren't as accustomed to being physically touched or that being a way of their interaction as it is with females. And, you know, so most times men, their only physical interaction is with their partner. They don't have that with anyone else in their lives, unfortunately. And I think that echoes throughout their lives and their relationships. That was my only 2 cents.
You wanted to throw that in there for you.
That was good. That was
Thank
good.
you so much.
That's very good. Thank you.
I didn't even
That
realize
is so
that.
true. That is so true.
Very good.
Yeah, it's very true because as young boys, we're taught to be tough and to be rugged, and when it comes to the softer part of you know, embracing and touching in the right ways, of course, it's not a part of the culture. So
Right.
It requires a level of vulnerability that is
I don't like that word.
yes.
Oh, come on, y'all.
Right. It's a
Vulnerability,
very
though.
foreign concept because of the programming and
We got 3 of them.
conditioning that, you know, contributes to toxic masculinity, so to speak. You're taught to not to be emotional. You're taught to not to tap, you know, anything that's soft is not manly, right?
Right.
So then you go into a relationship and you have to unlearn all of that.
Yep.
So,
And what people don't realize is that we have both energies essentially battling against each other for the dominant factor. And that's what's crazy, because we think just because we're born male, we're supposed to be super masculine. And I was born female and I'm super masculine. And I've had to learn how to accept that about myself, but then also understand that the female component of myself is just as important, if not vital.
Vero, I was just gonna say that I'm attracted to alpha women.
Yeah.
And when
Alpha,
you're
right. I'm glad. Yeah.
and when you're both alphas, yep, it's very tough. Yep.
I just want to add on to. Did you want to say anything more? I didn't want to interrupt you. Okay. So I just wanted to add on to the female and
Masculine,
the alpha female
okay.
and masculine male energy, right? So us as alpha females, we are used to living every day just deciding on what we want to do, making these decisions, kind of taking control and always being the ones to move forward, right? But when we're in a relationship, what we do is we actually, once we start falling in love, once we start
we become more submissive.
We
I think
become
more submissive.
We do. We let our female energy loose. We kind of trust more. We give more. We love more because we're like, okay, this is actually an energy that I really want in my life. And so,
Unfortunately, when you're done, I want to say something.
It sucks because you start questioning yourself. You're like, okay, well,
Could
should I continue being this alpha female, or what should I do? And you get all confused, right? But the fact of the matter is, the person who is meant for you will compliment you, and they will allow you to trust them, and they will allow you to let loose and be that feminine energy that you genetically are.
And not only that, but they'll balance, and just in general, great relationships are compliments.
Yeah.
They're not control, surrender completely. It's always like who's got it, you know, and who doesn't. And if it's okay if the one person doesn't have it, the other person can come in and be like, okay, look, I got this. We'll take care of it. You know what I mean? And it's a compliment versus like a battle. Yeah. And if a relationship is a battle, you have something to discuss. Yeah. You know, if there's two alpha individuals, like for me, I'm a very entrepreneurial individual, and I'm very business oriented. I'm very commanding. I command spaces. I'm a leader and all that. And I'm the leader of my home. However, what for me, what I require is somebody who can match me, but also understand that if I'm the leader of the home, you allow that. However, I'll be able to compliment without it being like, no, you can't do this, or you shouldn't do this. And I don't like, that's just not a contract I will sign.
Let me chime in real quick. Let me chime in real quick.
Stuff together, I will allow it if you are allowing. But if I don't, I won't. Yeah.
When you're an alpha, when you're an alpha, right? And I'm speaking as far as an alpha male. When you're an alpha male, like I'll give you, you know, just my example, right? So, you know, I'm a department head at work. You know, at my church, I'm the director of ushers. I lead a Bible study group.
He's a leader.
I'm a father of two. You know, so I lead in most of the areas in my life, right? So what's the argument that you most have when you're married? And it's where do you want to eat? So usually that becomes an argument. So as an alpha male, you're relinquishing that control over to your partner, right? And when your partner says, I don't care, you pick. So you're leading in every aspect of your life. We're giving you the control to say, hey, please take over. And when women answer, I don't care, you pick. That's where I think a lot of misunderstanding happens when, you know, of course you have to understand your partner, but if we're as alpha men, we're giving you saying, hey, we want you to take over. A lot of women don't understand that. So
I have a question.
I'm so glad that
right.
Because I have to say something on that. Sometimes if we give it right back to you, it's because just like you, we don't mind either. Yeah. But however, specificity is important. Communication is important. So it's like, I don't really feel like eating this, and this. However, I do feel like having a meal here, or not necessarily a meal here, or like, you know, being very specific. Like, I don't want this. I do want this. Now you decide. Yeah. You're giving them more information for them to be able to decide regardless. So it's up to us, but we're making a decision together. Yeah. Right. And that's what I prefer, is to make a decision together versus like relinquishing complete command. Unless I'm like, yo, do what you want. And that person already has something in mind and it flows. So it's not always like that.
Basically, that's two alphas, right?
Yeah. So he was.
Okay, my question is, do alpha males prefer alpha females?
Oh, that's a good question.
I do.
I would say that I don't, in a relationship, that all just goes out the window.
That just
because
goes
it's
out
an
the window.
partnership. And at the end of the day, we have to, from my opinion, we're subscribing to hierarchies. Okay. And in a relationship, we are not in a hierarchy.
Right.
We are in a partnership. And
I'm using it as a tool to define.
Right.
So that you can know what's what. I think that's what he was just saying in general.
right.
Like for me,
Yeah.
it's just like either you decide or I decide, but I'm good with whatever.
Right. But wait. I just want to make sure I understood you correctly, Glenn, before I have to jump through the camera on you.
And if it's
I just want to know because there's getting ready to be bloodshed here.
I say that
you're-
respectfully, Glenn.
No,
Respectfully.
I'm not saying it respectfully. I'm not saying it respectfully.
Okay.
So what I heard,
Mhm.
right? You're an alpha male. I'm a female, and you are going to give me the opportunity to
That's
pick.
not what I meant. No, that's not what I meant.
I just want to make sure because
Yeah.
after a hard day of
You
work,
gonna allow
right?
That's
now
not what I
you
meant,
are
and,
going
and
to-
nobody else took it that way. I don't believe.
Okay. Oh no,
But,
no. So I just want to make sure that I'm the only one
Yeah.
because
Yes, you
you know,
are.
as an alpha female, you know, I mean, I'm
I
making
meant
decisions all
alpha as
day
far as in
long.
every aspect. That's why I said I'm an
Right.
alpha in every aspect.
So wait,
of
that's
my-
So
actually
I'm an
what
alpha
does
in
that mean?
every respect. I'm an alpha in every respect.
Okay.
10 years in the Marine Corps, aircraft
Mhm.
mechanic. I own my own business.
Mhm.
So now
Yes.
we're going to go out. Blaze, fix your face, Blaze. Fix your face, Blaze.
I want
I'm
to talk about what you just said after you finish.
Right. And so now you're going to be
I like
like,
her.
you know, I'm going to give you the opportunity to pick where we're going to eat. I have people who decide for me
That was just an
where I eat.
example.
Because when I'm busy and when I'm working, you
Mhm.
know, my assistant will be like, they know what I want. And they'll be like, okay, you know, okay, so here's this. You know, when I go into the green room, they already have the foods that they know that I eat. So
Yeah.
here comes some alpha who's going to give me the opportunity to choose. All righty. Let me,
You guys,
okay.
if you
All
guys
right.
are waiting,
So I mean, like what you just
Let me
said.
calm down. Let me calm down. Let me rip. Okay, my PTSD is showing. I'm sorry.
Yes, it
Rose
is.
wants
Okay,
to
so-
say something.
find your
Okay.
female.
What you just said is
John,
very
come out of the room.
important because I think that unconsciously, well, first I want to say that we do live in a patriarchal society, and unconsciously, sometimes references can be made that are very patriarchal from a subconscious and unconscious level. But I think that it's important that we take accountability, right? For how even us as women who have adapted patriarchal virtues, but men, you know, you subliminally and unconsciously, you know, being patriarchal. But,
I love you.
Well,
You're just
I mean,
it's nice and
let's talk about that. What does the Bible say about the head of the household?
Oh, we're not.
So-
I don't-
no, we're
No,
not
I'm
going
just
there.
saying. I'm not saying that. You know,
No, we're not going there.
I feel that that's, you know, but is that what you're saying? I'm not that way. What I'm saying is that I lead in every part of my life, and sometimes I don't want to. I don't want to you know, decide on something. I would love my partner to just take over. That's what I meant. I didn't mean it as far as I'm the boss. Here's the control. I mean, the way that you guys, I interpreted it, but that's not what I meant. So
I could see what you were saying. Definitely, you know, you just want a participation from your partner into what she wants as well.
I mean, 100% is what I meant.
Yeah,
I mean, and that's part of what society. I guess the issues of society is that somebody says something and what did you just say?
no, I did not do that.
I
Then
think-
she's speaking your mind. She's speaking of mind.
No. Okay, so I've worked a 12-hour shift. You know, whether it was as an aircraft mechanic or, you know, back then or now, you know, as a photographer, I've been at a wedding all day long. And now you want me to decide where we're going to eat? I'm like, Like,
Oh, I see. What
Hold
you're
on, hold on.
saying.
Wait, can I just say one thing?
I've been
Can I say
working
one
all
thing?
yeah,
day,
okay,
the
go ahead,
computer
Brandon.
trading,
Save
whatever,
you, Brandon.
all that,
Save
and all
you.
of a sudden you want to ask me what I want to eat now?
No, no, no.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I
All right, hold on.
think,
Please, hold on.
I
Mr.
think,
Brandon, go ahead.
Glenn, I can't speak for you. I think you were just talking about your situation, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all.
Right,
Because
right.
I don't think he was making a generalization. I hope you weren't. God, Glenn.
No, I
was
wasn't.
not.
I wasn't.
That's
I
why
heard
I
correctly.
used myself as an example,
You were giving yourself an
We
example.
and I
appreciate you,
named
Glenn, I
everything
promise.
that I do.
That's it.
Right. Okay.
So for me, you know,
I'm
I
turning
have.
off my mic now.
Okay.
No,
You know, no.
talk.
So I have
You
people
want your
around
input,
me.
especially since you've been married for so long. Like a lot of that is quality for us. I've never been married. She's never been married. And Nana, have you been married?
I've been married once.
You've been married, okay? So both of us have not been married. Brandon has not been married. Moore is married, and John's never been married. So we have about half and half here. So to be able to listen to the issues or concerns that happen with people that have been married is really important to me, especially because I know now I have more of a perspective and a wider view of what to know, what to consider during that time, because I haven't. Like I'm just like, no, you know.
Yeah.
I have a child, yeah, but it wasn't the same thing. It's not the same thing as having that partnership, you know.
Yeah, you know.
So I guess I'm greener behind the ears on that.
I feel like marriage is sacred.
Yeah,
but
it
that's
is.
just my opinion.
Only
I
because
don't
we've
know.
never been married.
Yeah.
We don't know what happens. Like we honestly cannot say, you know, with firm belief that this is the way it's supposed to go. And obviously expectations kill all of it. So understanding all aspects of it and all stories of it, understanding there's a complete limitless possibility of what will happen, and the fact that we do decide, and the fact that we do present who we are to that person, or who we are at that level of consciousness, because we can always elevate to that next consciousness, and then that would be probably a better opportunity for us to get into a sacred union like that. Like it's just there's so many variables to it.
You know, I really want to hear from Blaze though.
Yes.
Have you ever been married,
Yes.
Blaze?
No, he's never been married.
No. So I know all of you guys like to talk a lot. I don't shut up at all. So
it's a great conversation, Blaze. Thank you
it
for
is.
having us.
We need to
welcome.
do this again next
All right,
week.
so hold on.
Having
So
us on. He's amazing. You're
who
awesome.
just left? So Nana left? Oh, yeah, Nana left.
That was on purpose. I
You know.
think connect.
So what I would like to do, I have two questions actually, and hopefully we get back on Nana. Question. There she goes.
There she is. It's good conversation.
There you are.
Exactly.
If you guys
worried.
are learning a lot, if you are in Facebook, go ahead and drop like fire emojis or heart emojis down below for Blaze for putting together this amazing panel of dope individuals so that you guys can learn and understand different aspects and perspectives about relationships and sexual nature.
And if you're watching the replay,
hashtag
replay.
That's my thing.
Girl, yeah, that's your play.
All right,
Replay,
so
when you're watching the replay.
thank you. All my panelists, shut up. Here we go. Two questions. Have a seat. Alpha male now. Have a seat. Here we go. Question one. All right, to those who have been married, would you get married again?
Ooh.
Is that a possibility? All right, we will start with Cece.
To the right person, absolutely. I'm a wedding photographer. I absolutely believe in monogamy and marriage. Yes.
Okay, let's go to Inanna. Would you get married again?
Well, the first time I got married, I didn't know what I was doing. And I also didn't have any kind of emotional or intimate intelligence whatsoever. And now that I'm older and I've gained a lot more of those things, I would definitely get married because I have a different understanding of what marriage is.
Okay. Mr. Moore, God forbid. All right, hypothetical. All right, if this current lovely marriage of 42 years somehow goes left, would you get married again?
No, I don't have to train another wife.
Oh, Cece,
Don't get
get him.
Cece started,
Cece.
please. Please.
Hold me back.
Please.
Oh, oh God.
Oh,
So Glenn, on this.
It's past my bedtime. I'm out.
Yeah.
I love you. I'm out, yo.
All right,
I
peace
can't do
out.
this no more,
Glenn,
man.
what you got?
Out.
You get married again, Glenn.
That's tough. I was married for 25 years. So I got married really young. Just like Inanna says, I didn't know what the heck we were doing. I think we got married for the wrong reasons. You know, it then grew. We had two beautiful children, you know, which, you know, are the loves of my life. So I thank her for that. That, they're like air to my lungs. I mean, you know, my kids. So, you know, I respect her. I honor her as a mother because of who she is. But it's so many other factors. My kids are teenagers, you know. That's a factor. You know, would I want to introduce another woman into their lives? I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. It's very tough. So
I guess it depends on where you are, honestly.
I have to clarify that statement because some people
Yeah,
may
the chat
think
is
it's
going wild.
No, you don't have
It's
to.
going wild with what you said, Tony. But
because it's no.
train another wife.
If you ask my wife that question, she'll give you the same answer. I don't have to train another husband because the synergy between us is so tight that to start over again, because there's a learning process. Once I got married, I realized, oh my God, I'm responsible to another person besides myself. I can't come and go without saying, oh dear, I'm going to be late, or I'm going to be doing this or that. And we have gotten to a certain stage in our relationship that's starting over now. Oh, that's going to be very difficult. So it's a sort of a comfort space, and you know, we say that to each other all the time. Well, I don't have to train another husband. I don't want to train another wife. So it's not something that is derogatory. It's just where you are in a relationship, and if you get to that spot, then
understood.
okay,
makes
nice
sense.
save, nice save, nice way to clean it up, Tony.
yeah.
I appreciate
So
it.
I saw recently. I work at Mixuki, a casino in Miami, and you know a lot of Hispanics there. And there is an older couple speaking to each other. They were married. You can tell they were married. And you know, the way that she spoke to him, it was, you know, papi, can I get you this? Papi, you know, do you need me to, get you something? And you know, and he was, you know, my love, you know, mi amor, no, gracias, you know. And the way that they were speaking to each other, and she asked him, she says, I know I'm older, but do you still think am I still pretty to you? And he's like, you're the love of my life. And I'm here listening to these two people, and they're older. And I'm like, if we all could be that way, as attentive to each other as those two people were, we would never have any issues. So
I agree with that. Yeah, it's just finding that person that stays fresh with you, that loves you no matter what. But it goes both ways. It really does.
Of course.
You know, some people say, oh, you find somebody that loves you more than you love them. And that's what I've been told, at least.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not the case. You have to have that, I don't want to say undying love, because it sounds so romanticized and movie-like, but it's more just having like that unconditional love.
Right.
That unconditional love is, you know, and if you can continue to keep it fresh that way, you know, you already know where you are, and that's where it's a good place for you to be, at least for a long period of time, because sometimes it might change after 20, 30, 40 years. We never know.
Mm-hmm.
No one ever knows. Everything is temporary anyway. Life is temporary.
Everything's temporary.
You know, people don't consider that. Life itself is temporary. So enjoy it while you can. If you keep it fresh, that's beautiful. You kept it fresh for that long. That's gorgeous. I love that.
Definitely. All right, now for question 2. Now,
Is
this
this
question
question
is
two?
question two. Of this
We were
part.
talking that much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's like, y'all just I gotta talk.
This question is for everybody, married and not married. If you had to choose between one of these, all right, what are your beliefs on this? When it comes to dating, when it comes to finding a partner or spouse or whatever, do you lean more so to opposites attract or equally yoked?
Equally yoked is very interesting. I found like there's like a fine line between that, only because there's a balance.
Mhm.
However, there has to be some commonalities in there. Otherwise, how do you flow through? There has to be something in common. You know,
like Veronica and I are entrepreneurs, so me personally, like I have to have a guy who is not a 9-to-5 employee, who is sort of entrepreneurial, so that he understands that the business meetings
like
that
what
I'm
we're
on
doing.
are
Yeah.
not just to
Agreed.
meet up with some guy, right? They're to actually meet up for business purposes, and like it just depends on your lifestyle, I think. And for me, I have to have somebody who wants something in life that is more grandiose rather than average. So for me, it's more of the, we have to have a lot of things in common rather than opposites attract.
Yeah.
I've never been the opposite.
Equally yoked. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Let's get from the
I would
guys.
say,
Yep. Mhm.
I would say equally yoked, but understanding and supportive of the difference.
Yes.
Mhm.
I think
Good
that's
answer.
a beautiful thing, right? You don't want somebody that's like with or like has similarities in everything you do. Like it's boring. To me, I would love
Yeah.
some
It's a core
different.
level. Like there's
Yeah,
a foundational level to
I
it.
want to
Like
support.
if there's like the things that are so important to you, morals and beliefs and things like that, those have like not have to be, but it's nice to have them. I don't to say got to or have to, because no one has to need, or it has nothing's firm. There's things that are flexibility, but if let's say that one is Christian, it would probably be a good idea to be Christian. Doesn't mean it's the same thing, but there has to be some commonality there, right?
But no, hold on. I would say something to that. I think it's what you deem important, right? It's what you feel that I need to have this, right? And so I think, Miss Cece, you said about like writing down the things, but that's for sex. But I'm just talking about like you should write down the things that you want in a partner, that you see in yourself, and then what you would like together, right? And so some people value religion, some people value being an entrepreneur, some people value whatever it is. I think that you need to have an understanding of what you're looking for, what that other person is looking for, and then if you could come together, then it's a beautiful thing. But you're gonna have different, and I think where people, and I don't want to speak because I'm not a relationship expert by no means, but I think where people go wrong is that people don't understand or they don't support the differences. It's like, why are you like this? This is what I want to do. You should do what I want to do, and vice versa. Well, it should be like, maybe I don't really want to do this, but you know what? I love you that much. I'm going to support you. And you know what? There's some things that you like that I don't really care for, but I'm going to support you. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, unequally
Well
yoked.
said.
Right.
Well said.
So people and relationships are our biggest mirrors, right?
Yes.
And unless we've done a level of self-work, we're going to keep coming across people that are going to reflect to us what we need to do to, get deeper with ourselves. And that's going to not be always pretty. That's how sometimes we attract narcissists. That's sometimes how we attract people that just don't align with us, because they are there for a reason to reflect what we need to see in ourselves. And we can say equally yoked or opposites attract, but really the relationship with yourself has to be completely stable before even approaching the dating scene. And I speak from experience, like I would just keep meeting the same type of people over and over, and it was apparent that it was a pattern and that there was a loop here, and that they must be reflecting something that I need to see in myself.
Absolutely.
So that I can actually meet the type of person that I will be able to feel all the things that I want to feel in a relationship. So that's, I think, is very important, is always keeping the mindset that people are mirrors, right?
Yeah.
That just helps me get through the whole real quick, help me get through
That's good.
that obstacle.
I'm really glad you mentioned that, only because like people always say, what's your type? I'm like, I've gone through so many types because I've grown so like rapidly throughout my years, especially since I started dating, that they're like, what's your type? I'm like, well, this guy was this, and this guy was this, and this person was this. And it was always so different because I shifted that quickly, you know, and only in the last, in my opinion, only in the last 5 years, I started to attracting more people that needed me. But because I wasn't, in full honesty and vulnerability, I wasn't feeling as confident within myself and my abilities. So guess what? Somebody would show up and be like, you're confident, you're amazing, you're you're everything, you're on a pedestal. And I'm like, wait a minute, this doesn't feel right, you know? But it's only because I'm like, it was showing me where I wasn't loving myself and where I wasn't feeling that level of confidence within myself, that level of love, self-love within myself. So beautiful. I love that. Thank you for that reminder. So true.
So you were attracting people who needed you because you needed more
to
from
feel
yourself.
exactly.
Oh, I love that.
It's like a full-on therapy session.
Right? Oh my gosh.
Mr. Moore.
So on the surface, we are opposites because I'm an introvert and she is much more outgoing. But at the very core, we are just about the same in certain basic things. And there are things that I like and she knows I like them or I don't like, or vice versa. And so it's always a give and take. Now, we've been in business together for 34 years. We work together and for many years in the same office, and people always wonder, how do we do that? Because we're able to separate the business from the personal. Now, at home, she's the boss. At work, I'm the boss. So, we all have our spaces where we can exert power if we want to. But I'm an easygoing person. So there are times I talk about going out to dinner and she go, where you want to go? I really don't care. And there are other times, you know what? I want to go to this place. And so, we go to that place. But it comes back to really communicating honestly with each other and understanding that we all want to do things at various times that we may not feel personally, but because our mate wants to, you go along with it. And sometimes those are the best times that we've had together. Now, she likes to go away in little mini vacations, and I can stay on my homebody. I'll stay home, and she go, you know what? I just made a reservation let's go away for the weekend. Okay, I'm good with that. So I'm saying, there's certain things that she does that I know she's going to do, and there are other things that she does, and we'll talk about it. We'll have a conversation about it, and let it go. Because if ego doesn't get in the way of the relationship, you can always build on whatever you have. But a lot of times, ego gets in the way, especially guys' egos. They want to be, I'm the man, so whatever I say goes. And, I've seen it so many times in business where, a couple will come into the office, and when you listen to a conversation, you realize that the woman is way smarter than the guy is. But I'm serious. And that's is way smart, especially when it comes to money, because guys want to take too many risks, and women are a lot more keen and even if they don't understand, they know they need to go seek understanding by talking to someone who has the information, where guys are going, yeah, I know what to do. And then everything collapses. So I'd say to guys, sometimes you need to just listen to the woman in your life and take a pause. Because for me, once I started having kids, my two young children taught me a lot about being softer, being able to not be so masculine in my decision making, but to be a little bit more empathetic. And if we allow ourselves that growth process, the relationship can blossom and become a very beautiful thing. But we have to allow that to happen. So.
Oh, thank you for that.
Okay.
I love that.
Cece or Glenn?
CC, please,
I'm
please,
afraid of
CC.
Glenn now. I'm
No,
afraid of
please, CC, please go ahead.
Glenn is like, I ain't
I'm
going
just
first.
kidding, CC. I still love you.
I love you too. We just met. But I do want to say this, that what Tony said about we might be different on the surface, but we're equally yoked. Um, and that is so true. And Nana, for years, and even to this very point, I I don't have a certain type. I mean, I like men. I love men. I think they're great. I love the way they smell. I love everything about a man.
Mhm.
But I tend to attract the same type of guy
Mm,
every single time. And what I realized is it went back to my childhood.
that's
Now,
what it
my
goes.
okay, so
Yes.
my dad, okay, he made some mistakes, and what he did is he did not choose his family. All right, he did not choose his family. He just rode off into the sunset, with some other skank. Hello, yeah, okay, all right, no, no, no. Okay, so all right. Let me pull it back. I don't want to tell you how I really feel, but every guy that I have dated and been serious about always, always, always has a daughter. He's been married, and there's a daughter from that relationship, and he always ends up going back to that previous relationship. And what
Hmm.
I realized was that was what I wanted. And whether they were divorced, and of course they were divorced by the time they started dating me, but what I wanted as a kid was I wanted my dad to choose my mom, his wife, and me and my siblings.
So
And he
there's
never, he didn't do that, right?
right.
And so nearly every relationship that I've had has that common thread where it's a man, he's divorced, and he has a daughter. And so
Wow.
at first I was like a little like, oh, what is it? Is it something about me? But now I just go in with a completely different mindset. Like, okay, I don't know, but I'm not, I'm still working on that. God's still working on that part of it, but it's something that I realized is the common thread. So whether they're short, tall, fat, skinny, um, it just depends. But the one thing I do insist on is that they have an entrepreneurial spirit.
Right.
If a guy doesn't have an entrepreneurial spirit, we don't have anywhere to start.
I'm with you, girl. I'm with you,
Yes,
girl.
yeah, it's got to
Can
be
I can
that.
I chime in on that only because I'm very familiar with that? When it comes to you experiencing the same thing over and over, just like Anana said, it is part of a shadow self that you're not addressing or that you haven't
Hmm.
accepted. And so you already see where I'm going with this. If you see that somebody you're dating has a daughter, it's probably because that feminine energy you haven't accepted or you haven't ingrained or integrated into your own life. So it's
Hmm.
showing up in that aspect.
Right.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, I can only speak from observation. I can only speak.
Right. No, no, I know what you're saying is true. And that's something that I'm working on because, the common thread here is me. So it's not the
Mhm.
guy, it's me.
Yeah.
It's an issue that I need to resolve. So I'm working on that.
But you're amazing.
Yes,
Thank
you
you. So are you.
are.
I mean, everyone here is amazing. And
I know.
Glenn, I really do
Sure.
love you. I love you, Glenn.
Same here. Same
Glenn,
here.
it's your turn.
All right. I don't know if it's equally yoked or opposites attract, but I guess my 2 cents is that if you go in honest, a lot of men hide a lot of things because either they're embarrassed about them or if you go in honest, saying like you were saying, Vero, or Cassie, Cassie, that look, I work, you know, I'm an entrepreneur. I go to school, yeah, 47 years old and uh, sophomore in college. I spend a lot of time volunteering. And if you divulge that information in the beginning, right? And where your partner or your, future partner, hopefully, she sees where you're coming from, and she's like, oh, okay, yeah, I also work many hours, so that's cool, you know. And I think as long as you go in honest, with everything that you do, or everything that your future partner will expect from you, I don't think there'll be any issues. For me, I think equally yoked, because of the reasons that I just listed. You know, I do spend a lot of time volunteering. I do spend a lot of time at work. I do spend a lot of time with my kids. So many women will not, you know, if they are not in the same shoes as you, they're not going to understand that. Oh, why does he spend so much time with his kids? You know, oh, why is he going back to school? That's ridiculous. He's so old. Or, you know,
You're
why
not
does he spend so much time at work? You know, I'm just saying.
You are old.
I know I'm old.
Not even close.
I still
Not
look
even
good though.
close.
It's okay.
But I see what he's saying. It's true. And a lot of guys find like maybe some reservations about speaking honestly and openly because someone doesn't accept you. I'm going to tell you right now, if they don't accept you from the beginning, then they're not for you.
Exactly.
Yep.
They're just not. I'm super honest and direct in the beginning. If someone doesn't like who I am, then they're not for me. They're not for me. So
Bro, this
You
ain't
know, I don't really care if they like me or not. If they don't like me, saddle up, dude. Saddle up. I'm like,
So saddle up.
saddle up. Get on out. Like, you know, like, I mean, I bring a lot to the table. And so now I'm going to try and beg some man to like
there's
me.
people that do it though, CC. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
I'm like,
And that's why he
no.
asked that question. And there's a lot of people
No,
go into
but
it.
see, when I was younger, I would beg somebody to like me,
Yeah.
you know. But now, oh heck no! Like,
Right.
no, saddle up. And that's my favorite saying. When I tell you to saddle up, get to going. Don't no, Blaze.
Yeah.
No, saddle up. Ride on out of town. You know, you know. What they say, not to be a sheep, but get the flock out of here.
Oh, I was not expecting that.
Yeah, get the flock on out. Flock, I said flock.
I love
love
it.
her.
You know, but saddle up, just ride on
Same way,
through.
auntie.
I mean,
She's totally the same way.
you
What's the
know.
next question, though, Blaze?
Yeah, what's the next?
This is
Blaze,
getting
when
heavy.
can we do this again? Oh my God, I'm having so much fun with you guys.
Matt, me too. We have to do this at least once a month or every other month.
Wait,
Right?
wait.
You know,
We were supposed to be talking about sex,
And we got into relationships. Yeah.
and it seems like relationships are more interesting than sex,
Right?
because there's only so much you
Right?
can talk about in sex, though.
right? Because how long does it really last?
Oh.
Well,
3
the
hours.
Great
what
question.
you're talking about.
All right, John, next question.
Next question, John.
Well,
Next
under
question.
1 hour, you know. Hey, there you go.
So, since I am a health enthusiast, personal trainer, and all,
You're right.
what you eat, what you consume, has a direct effect on sex, on your
Truth.
performance. Yes,
Whiskey. Yes.
we just lost.
Definitely, it has an effect on the libido.
There you go.
Think we lost B.
She makes it so beautifully spoken, but no.
Exactly.
You got that whiskey. We don't work it.
Thank you. I am a spoken word poet. But the foods that we eat will either nourish our libido or it will make it malfunction.
Yes.
So
Okay.
Malfunction.
things.
So what
Yeah,
food should we
malfunction.
be eating then?
Well, for number one thing for men is and women is sea moss. Blaze knows all about sea moss.
Go to Cece.
Oh yeah.
CC for that.
Okay. Right.
Can I get some then?
It maca things like ashwagandha, turmeric.
I have
These things have a direct influence
What about
on
ginger?
the
Because I'm
libido and
obsessed with
sexual
ginger.
drive. The same
Salt
thing.
palmetto.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same for women. Maca is great.
I love maca.
Yeah.
I just think in
These are
general, because I
medicine.
do have a background in dietetics and nutrition, is just eating mostly an alkaline diet. The more alkaline your body is, the smoother it is. But we also have other factors like meditation, keeping yourself as low stress as possible, getting more connected, exercising. Obviously, there's a lot more than nutrition is a big factor.
Oh yeah.
But also how we move our body, how we present our body, how we speak to ourselves, and
our
just
stress
so many
levels.
things. Oh yeah, so many.
How we feel about ourselves, all of that contribute to libido.
So I have to tell you this. Normally, I eat really, really healthy. You know, I do the Irish moss every day, and the ginger and the turmeric, and I walk and I meditate. So this past weekend, for whatever reason, I fell off the wagon twice. Twice this weekend, I had burgers, like hamburgers with bacon, and then the second time I had a burger, I had it with a beer, which is something.
But it's okay though, Cece.
No. Let me tell you. I think we were in a meeting Monday night or Sunday night. I was in a meeting with Blaze, and somebody said something that was, semi dumb, and I just went ballistic. And normally that's not me. And
Did you eat a burger last night?
No, but check this out. I did not walk.
Wants to keep track.
I did not walk. So not only have I been eating all this red meat, which is only 2 burgers, but then I haven't walked, and so my sleeping's been off. And so normally, Glenn, I'm so sweet, I'm so lovable. I mean, as long as you do things my way, it's okay. You can do anything you want as long as you do it my way. But all of a sudden, the last 2 days, I have been like crazy. So, eating is important. It really, what you eat really is important.
I follow by 80-20, so
yeah. Right.
That also includes alcohol. Alcohol affects sex.
When I don't,
so you can eat clean, but alcohol is still a huge part.
You can speak on it. When I don't drink, like I'm meditating, I'm fasting, I'm very, very clean in my diet. I'm so serene. I'm so chill. I'm just like, it's true. I'm not as harsh.
Does it help or hinder?
Oh.
Does it help
what
or
help?
hinder?
Hinder.
Alcohol.
Hinder.
I know B wants to say something different.
Oh no, I'm agreeing.
No, B. I thought B wanted to say something different.
I said V.
No.
He's not saying anything.
Okay.
Sure.
Hey, so for guys, for some guys, it gives them the courage to approach a woman.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But then beyond that, it can hinder
performance.
No, the interaction.
Performance, yeah.
Performance.
It affects your mental.
It's true. It's a two-edged sword.
Mental. Memory loss. You might say things and do things that you wouldn't normally do in your sober mind. Yeah.
Speak on it,
All
B.
in all, alcohol is not the move. No, that's all I got. Alcohol is not the move.
I would love to
a sober mind
more.
when you're enjoying such a beautiful thing.
Now,
that's all I got, man.
I do want to say something though. I have had experiences where I've had a few glasses of wine with somebody, and we've had sexual encounters, and it was the most beautiful thing because they were let loose and I was let loose, and we were in sync and we were connected. But it's not always that case. So, it's just.
I want to mention that there are a group of female Taoists called the White Tigresses. They are part of a secret society of Taoist masters that cultivate their sexual energy to attain immortality. And part of their practice is that they have a sake shot of brandy with peach brandy.
Ooh.
And they do take it so that they can experience a level of euphoria before engaging in sex. And sex is not regular sex. This is like transcendental sex.
Yes.
So can we get peach
Can I
brandy
be?
off
I
of
just want to be
Amazon?
Taoist now.
Say that again?
Can I get peach brandy off of Amazon? Is that
You can get that at the liquor store. They got some.
Not with your shared account, CC. Not with your shared account.
But they do. They're very
I'm a Prime
disciplined,
member.
right, with the amount of alcohol that they take, because with everything there is moderation.
Yes.
So all of their whole structure and how they attain immortality through sex is very disciplined, very, very disciplined. So if you want to learn more about the White Tigresses Society, I would recommend the book, The Sexual Teachings of the White Tigers by, I can't say his name, but his is H.S.I. Lee.
so? Give us that name again. What is it? Because that's gonna be. I'm ordering that book.
It's called The Sexual Teachings of the White Tigers. It's a group of female Taoist masters, which is not talked about often, because usually when we talk about Taoist masters, they're usually men. And this is specifically for women, especially if you, and one of their objectives were to get their vitality and youthfulness back, or retain their youthfulness. And so they had different ways they massage their breasts to keep the breasts perky, different cheek right, yeah.
Right?
Different qigong movements to keep their waist tight. Different. A lot of the focus was on oral sex, because that was the way that they absorbed yang energy, was from the ejaculation of their male counterparts. So, and how they absorb yang to retain their youthfulness and vitality, and gain immortality. You know what I'm saying?
What's the name of that book again?
Yeah, right.
Let me.
For real.
Now let me put that in the chat.
I'm ordering mine right now. I'm ordering it right now.
Can somebody send me the link? Like now.
CC, let me order it for you, so you're I'll just send it to you.
Let me see. Hold on. I can show you a picture of it.
And it came right up. As soon as I put in sexual teeth, it comes right up. Ooh, nice. Do they have the audio version? No, okay. All right.
The audio version is probably crazy.
That's all right.
Have the audio version.
But I think it's we're all looking for it now.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I've got to tell you this. I'm planning a retreat to Tulum, Mexico,
Hey.
and I think this
Okay,
would be
are we
like
invited?
sure. I'm thinking that this would be like an amazing kind of thing. Oh my gosh! Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually looking.
go.
I was looking at that
We were
also.
To go to Tulum?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the hot spot to go to.
It
right
really
now.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a hot spot now, and I only heard about it like 6 months ago. All of a sudden, now everybody wants to go.
Yep.
So
Inanna.
Yes.
So Inanna, you have these women in the chat going crazy.
oh yeah,
What
it's
they
an
going
audio
crazy about?
version.
They love you.
Okay.
They love your voice. They love your energy.
If you love my voice, you can stream my EPs on all streaming platforms now.
There you go.
Woo.
Everybody's like,
Yeah, I have an EP I just released called Afro Medusa. It is available on all of your platforms: iTunes, Spotify, Tidal.
There you go.
You can put me on repeat.
So I have to say this. Yeah, I love TEDx. I love TEDx, and TEDx has performers for every certain number of speakers. You need to go on as a performer. For
They usually
TEDx.
look for specific topics of like, because I was a MC for TEDx Hollywood, and they actually look for something like actual conversation or a topic that is going to entice or bring people in. So she can come up with that,
as a
definitely.
speaker,
But that's how you do it. and then
As
you
a
apply
TEDx
to
speaker,
anyone locally
what you can
or
do is go on as a performer. All right. And so, of course, the biggest performer that we all know about is Amanda Gorman. Amanda Gorman did a TEDx Salon, and then she did TEDx Miami last year. And then, boom, she jumped in on January 20th. But, you know, and Blaze and I have talked about this, is that, you know, as a performer, you still can get in. So, you know,
there's two though. You can be a performer and a speaker, and that's what my friend Brian Breach did.
right.
You
So
did both
I'm
performance.
talking for her specifically as a performer.
Yeah.
You would be
I think she would
amazing.
kill both.
Yes,
Just my
right,
opinion. She
right,
would kill both. That'd be so
right.
dope.
So, yeah, because that's kind of what I help people do is get on the
Love
stage.
it.
But Nana, yeah, we need to talk. Blaze, we're already talking.
Do it.
You know, you're up there. So yeah. But anyway. So.
Definitely. I didn't know that you were talking to me, but now that I understand.
No. I'm talking to you. I'm
Okay,
talking
now
to you
I know. Now I know you're talking to me. Okay.
I'm talking to you specifically.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm down
Yeah.
for the cause.
Okay. All right. Yeah. We need
John's
to
like,
talk.
what about me? That was
I-
cool.
All right.
John
Please.
performs and he speaks, y'all. So make sure to follow John Place on his podcast, which we are probably listening to right now.
Yes. So we have been on this for nearly 2 hours.
Almost 2 hours.
Wow.
It went by quick.
2 hours. Wow.
Yeah.
An hour and
Way
46
past my bedtime.
Yeah. So, but what I want to do is I want to go around the round table and just get closing remarks. Just get anything you want to share with the audience. It can be uplifting. It can be demanding. It can be super sexual. Whatever you want to leave our audience with. Please don't ramble for 30 minutes. That's okay. So with that said, let us start. Why not? Let's start with Mr. Tony Moore.
What do I want to leave you with? And that is enjoy the moment. Be mindful of yourself and what your needs are and what your desires are, and be okay with it. And be honest with whomever you meet up or are in a relationship with. And knowing that it's okay if it doesn't last forever. Okay? Because when we start putting expectations on other people and even of ourselves, we're always going to be disappointed. So if the sex is not great tonight, maybe tomorrow night it'll be great, or vice versa, right? But that's not the only thing that is important in your life. But it's an integral part of it, but it's not the only thing. So be mindful, be respectful of your partner in every respect. Understand their feelings. And if you can do that on a consistent basis, maybe you can really, really have great sex for a long time.
Woo!
Amen.
I received that. Let's move on to Cassie.
Oh, okay.
He's just picking people random.
All right. So, what I want to leave you guys with is to always be intentional. Okay. So, whether you are in a relationship or not, always know that when you are going into things, know what you want. Know what you are desiring out of that experience. And then you can move forward in clear consciousness of what's going to happen next. Because a lot of times we get stuck in positions where we're like, shoot, I don't know what happened. It just happened. And, now we're here and I don't know where to go from there. But if you go into a situation with clear intentions, I guarantee you, you're not going to leave saying, okay, I don't know what just happened. I don't know where to go from here. If you go in knowing what you want, knowing what you desire from that experience, It's going to point you in the right direction. And also in sexuality, like if you know that if you are single and wanting to eventually be in a relationship with that person, if you engage in sexual encounters, then your intention is to, let's say, eventually end up in marriage. Then it's going to obviously offset the course of events in the future. But if you're single and you're like, okay, you know what, I'm just kind of seeing what happens, then it's gonna offset the course of direction in a different way. So just always be intentional, guys. That's all I have to say.
I like that. I like that.
Awesome.
Let's move on to Bedro, Iceberg.
Iceberg.
I'll keep it short and sweet.
No.
You can never truly love somebody. No. Until you have peace and you love yourself. So find where you need to get, find your center, love yourself, have peace, and then you can bestow that on someone else. And don't forget to communicate, because that could be the detriment of a relationship. That's all I got.
Okay. Let's go to Inanna. Hey. Actually, no. Sorry. Wait. Sorry. No.
Oh my
Let us
God!
go.
Don't cut her off.
Let us go to Veronica.
Go in, man.
I know she was. Hold it in. Veronica.
I mean, there's not much more I can say. I love adding to what already you guys have already felt and received during this conversation. This is a beautiful panel, and hearing from tons of perspectives, different genders, different life paths, and all that is beautiful. However, you have to figure out what it is that you want, and I'm glad that we're all talking about that. Figure out who you are. First and foremost, front and center, who you are. If you don't know who you are, if you don't connect with yourself, if you don't love yourself, there's no reason that you should look for that outside of yourself, not just in a romantic relationship, in a business relationship, through your family, through any interaction with others. Okay? First and foremost, love yourself, accept yourself, understand yourself, speak to yourself, be with yourself. If you are not happy with who you are as a person, figure that out first before you start looking to include somebody else in your life. And that for me is like the foundation of finding what you want, not just in a partner, but just in life in general. It's a business relationship, what you want as far as your purpose, your why. All of that stems from you. Okay? Internal cause, external effect. It all begins with you. The power begins with you. Our power is from within 100% of the time. So if you don't find that within yourself, what are you looking to give and contribute to somebody else? Okay. But outside of that, more than anything is be grateful for every experience, regardless of what level you're in, regardless of what happened in that relationship or business ship or family ship, whatever ship it may be. That ship has sailed, and just take it for what it is, learn from it. Every pain is a lesson, and every lesson is a growing experience. So that's kind of where I go from it, and that's how I've grown as much as I have. So I can only pass it on to you guys with so much love, and so much understanding, and so much peace within you.
Okay. All right. Next, we'll have our duo, Glenn and Cece, who okay. Let's go with Glenn. Go for it.
All right. Keep it short. Be honest. I mean, it's just most relationships fail because of honesty. I mean, you just weren't straight up from the beginning. In the 47 years that I've been on this earth, just know that you're not going to change anybody because you want them to change. You have to know what they like, and they have to know what you like, and just be honest, be open-minded, be respectful. It sounds simple, You know, but you know, those are things that we have to work on that I'm still working on. So, just my 2 cents.
Okay. And Cece.
All right. I actually believe and I acknowledge that what Glenn said was right.
For the
So,
first time ever.
first time ever. I hope this is recorded because this might not ever happen again. But no,
Don't eat
no.
any more burgers, please.
So, first and foremost, be honest. Be honest not only with the other person, but with yourself. If you know that you don't like something or you want something, be honest and say that. And that's something that I've learned as I've matured is to really say what I want. All right. And then also be grateful. Gratitude changes everything. All right. When you can be grateful for the tiniest little thing or the big things or whatever it is, you know, that changes everything. I journal a lot. So you just get that feeling and you tap into the flow. And Glenn is so right. I hate this. I hate this. But, you know, you have to know what you want. And when you're right with yourself, then everything will come full circle and you'll tap into the flow. So can't change anybody. Be grateful and know what you want and be able to say it. Because so many times women we don't say what we want and we default to the alpha male to make decisions when we know we don't want, you know, we don't want whatever he's saying, but we let him make the decision and then we sit there and we fume and we don't verbalize. So be honest and do everything in gratitude. Thank you.
All right, so I will close.
What
Oh,
about
I'm
Inanna?
sorry.
What do you mean? There's brands.
Just kidding.
Queen, come on, speak, Queen.
Right. We know that we
Wow. Okay.
I mean,
My closing remarks would be to unlearn everything you ever learned about sex and relationships and relearn it, even if you're 50 or 15 years old, and just disregard all the dogma that you read about it or the doctrines that you read about it, and just completely align yourself to what it means for you and how it can be sacred for you and how you can be fulfilled from it solely from your own place and from your own space and nothing else to contribute or influence that. And whenever we think about these very lavishly sexual, hypersexual people, and a little bit of judgment comes up, analyze that, sit with it, observe it, and break it down and break it apart, because that would be it. That's a truth teller. So that's what I have to impart for everybody tonight. And also check me out on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Untitled, Inanna Rose, and my other platform, Priestess and Scholar, for sacred plant medicines that contribute to soul level healing, and Kundalini Roses for botanical needs like Ashe water, Florida water, all of that good stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I just don't say that.
I love the Kundalini.
I just say at V Billies. Find me out everything at V Billies.
That part.
That part right there. That part.
Wow. I can't even top half of what y'all said. Yeah.
Yes, you can.
No, I can. I was just being humble.
You don't have to be humble, son.
You don't have to be humble. Not around us.
Okay, let me just speak on this, because Blaze takes way too much of the humble aspect on everything. But he's actually super remarkable. He's not only just super talented, but he pushes himself out of his comfort zone. He's okay with putting together a panel like this. And I know for sure it's not very comfortable for him in general. So I have to honor him as an individual. I've seen his growth over the last more than a decade at this point. And I love him for who he is. And I appreciate him for bringing us all together, because honestly, this is a very dope, eye-opening, super expansive conversation. And I'm loving all of it. And I love all you guys. Like, this was awesome. Like, it's just like everything for me this week. My birthday last week, and this was just like a beautiful tie-up for everything. So this was beautiful. Thank you all.
Definitely. Thank you for that.
And follow him everywhere. I was kidding.
Yeah, follow me at Blaze the Lion and the Blaze the Lion podcast on various platforms.
And our song. No, I'm just kidding.
And we got a song, yes, Queen of Sound. And we got another song coming soon.
Yep.
In the works. And me and Inanna Rose also have a piece coming out too. So, we out here working,
I love it.
Look for me and CC on the TEDx stage. That's also in the works. All right. Linda and I are taking over the IT world, so we ain't going nowhere.
Exciting.
And me and B-Drobe Iceberg. If you don't know who that is Brandon here. That's his name, B-Drobe Iceberg. He can spell it for you, and he can tell you the story about how he got the name B-Drobe Iceberg. But for those who don't know, that is my cousin, my real cousin. We are blood family. And he is very similar to me, but also very different. But we blend. We do have a very nice blend. And I would just like to say thank you to all of you. Me being the podcast host and me being the person with all these hats and 15 sources of income and all the stuff going on. It was good to sit back. I don't always have to lead. I don't always have to take control. And contrary to what people may have thought, I actually felt very comfortable sitting back and just learning and just allowing you all to interact with each other. My focus was, yes, for good content and views and all that stuff is cool. But I really wanted you all as panelists to vibe with each other. I'm a firm believer in building relationships and sharing energy. And each of you has your own light. You have your own strong energy that was evident today, for real. So just seeing that blend together, even the little husband and wife feud between Glenn and Cece,
Wait a minute.
We're going to Tala, Mexico, and we're gonna hash it out. So
Right.
And then the ladies are gonna have a ladies' night. Just say.
Right. Oh my gosh.
So just seeing all that made me very, very happy. So I want to thank you all just for being president and just sharing your time. Regarding sex, regarding relationships, those who know me, you know. You know. Those who don't know me, it's okay. Look at this holistic, plant-based, elevated man. Look at me however you want to look at me. But at the end of the day, you have that power from all the trauma that you've been through, all the issues. You have that power to change. And it's time that we stop blaming other people, even our parents, even our siblings, even our spouse, even our ex-boyfriends and ex-girlfriends who were so toxic. It's time that in 2021 that we start taking accountability, right? And we do that shadow work, and we grow and we progress and be the best freaking person that we can be together.
Okay.
Yes, indeed.
Right.
So,
Ashe.
I
really
gotta
quick.
say, this has been shared like 19 times already.
I
we
Keep
love
sharing.
it. Just wait
Yes.
And it will be shared more.
Wait till the end
Yes,
of the
so
week.
share, people, share.
Keep sharing. Keep sharing. Share with your grandparents. Share with your
I'm gonna
parents.
tag my daddy and my mama on this.
Share all of
I
them.
sent my mom the link.
Share with that person who you trying to, share it with that ex if you want as a message. Just share it. Share it. Really quick for the chat and for the audience. All of my single people on the panel, raise your hand.
I don't know what that is. Single?
Cece's like, no, I'm not gonna raise my hand.
Did you say single?
Yes.
Single.
Did you say single? Oh, I thought he
Single.
said tingle. I was like, what the hell is tingle? I'm like, tingle. I just found out what the womanizer was. You know, I'm like.
She was like, where can I find that on Amazon? Tingle.
This is not an advertisement.
Right. All right, I'm single. See,
Right.
yeah, they're saying in the chat they heard tingle. They're hearing tingle. Like, yeah, tingle.
I love you, Cece.
All right.
Single.
I need to say business
All right.
partner.
She got business to do. Y'all better not take her away. She got work to do. I'm teasing.
So
what about
I'm not trying to play matchmaker or anything, but just in case, you all saw who the single people were. So if anybody on this panel, you see somebody who you like,
You are trying to play Cupid, just saying.
Me? No.
He's
No.
like, me.
Ever. No. If you do meet your partner from this podcast, all I ask is that
You're gonna be the man of honor.
just let me perform.
Obviously.
Like I just want to perform. That's it.
I'll be your wedding photographer. So Chriselle
Hey,
says, she says, if you get your tingle if you're single. So I'm loving those comments. So. All right.
See, they are loving Glenn and Cece. See that?
Oh.
We'll tell you after our
I
trip.
can see that.
We'll tell you after our trip.
All right.
To Tulum, Mexico.
Yeah.
I love it.
Blaze, you need to arrange that.
My
trip
cheeks
to
hurt from
Tulum.
smiling.
Yeah.
No, I'm down.
Yeah,
I'm down.
Let's
do
go.
it.
Tulum.
I haven't traveled at all.
Okay,
You guys
good.
got it.
Yeah. So anyway.
So this was the BLAZETHELION podcast with your host, Blaze. Thank you again to my guests, Glenn Cortez, Veronica Adames, I say, Cassie, don't know
Lynn
what,
Meyer.
Cassie Lynn Meyer, Cece Aspew. So you can feel free to wave as I call your name and give a little head nod or something. We have Mr. Tony Moore. We have Inanna Rose. Make sure you get her EP. What is it called again? Let's go.
Afro Medusa.
Afro Medusa. And then we have, last but not least, Mr. Bedro Iceberg.
Beat.
And so, Mr. Single Man out here.
Deuces.
Yes. Peace and love, y'all. Thank you all. Bless and bless.
Love you guys so much.
Have some sex.
The womanizer. Go get the womanizer.
End the live.
Right. Bye.